Welcome to Lab 3.1. Create a baseline Windows hardening profile. In this lab, we are going to create our first real Windows configuration profile using the settings catalog. This profile will act as a baseline hardening policy, meaning it defines the minimum security posture every managed Windows device must meet. It's important to understand something early. A baseline is not about locking everything down aggressively. A baseline is about consistency. Every device should start from the same secure foundation so that the security teams know what normal looks like. During this lab, we will focus on three things. First, how to create a configuration profile using the modern setting catalog. Second, how to select meaningful security settings without overcomplicating the policy. And third, how to correctly assign and validate the profile so we know it's actually working. This create, configure, assign, validate pattern is something you will repeat constantly in real Intune environments. Take your time as we go. This is foundational work. Before we create any policy, we need to navigate to the part of Intune where configuration profile live. This area controls operating system behavior, security settings, and device configuration. Configuration policies are different from compliance policies, endpoint security policies, and application policies. Understanding where to configure things is one of the most common mistakes new Intune admins make, and it leads to overlapping or conflicting policies. On your browser, go to intunemicrosoft.com and sign in. In the left navigation, select Devices and then select on Configuration. Take a moment to look at what's already here. Even in lab tenants, you may see existing profiles. Pay attention to profile names, platforms, and profile types. This gives you context before creating anything new. Now click Create Profile and click on New Policy. At this point, you should be on the screen where Intune asks you to choose a platform and profile type. You should be on the Create a Profile page. Now next, we define the scope of the policy. This answers two questions. Which operating system does this apply to? And how will the settings be configured? For platform, we select Windows 10 or later. This ensures the profile applies to modern supported Windows endpoint. For profile type, we choose Setting Catalog. This is Microsoft's recommended approach for Windows configuration. It's flexible, searchable, and continuously updated. In real environments, Setting Catalog is usually your default unless you have a very specific reason to use templates or OMA URI. Let's click on Create. Now name the profile. I'll call it Win Baseline Hardening. For the description, enter baseline Windows hardening using Setting Catalog. Descriptions matter. 6 months from now, someone else may inherit this tenant, or it may be you. Clear naming and descriptions prevent accidental misconfiguration later. Click Next, and you're taken to the settings page. Before we add anything, we are going to explore the settings catalog. This catalog contains hundreds of configurable Windows settings grouped into logical categories. Instead of scrolling endlessly, experienced admin rely heavily on search. Click on Add Settings and browse a few categories briefly. Notice how settings are grouped by functional area. Now use the search bar and try searching for password, defender, and encryption. Hit enter. This is how real world policy creation works. You start with a security requirement, then search for the settings that enforces it. Don't select anything yet. We are just learning the interface. Click Cancel to return. And now you should understand how settings are organized and searched. Now we will add a small but meaningful set of baseline security settings. The goal is not enable everything, is to show how security expectations translate into enforceable configuration. Click Add Settings. First, search for device lock. Click Search. And under the device lock, go to Device Password Enabled and check Minimum Device Password Length. Click Cancel to go back and toggle on the device password enabled. Let's set the minimum password length 8 and then click Next. These are foundational controls that almost every organization enforces. Next, search for Defender. Click Search. And under the Microsoft Defender Antivirus, select Turn off Microsoft Defender Antivirus. And then search for Encryption. Click BitLocker. And then select Required Device Encryption. Then close this pane. So when we turn off Microsoft Defender Antivirus to disable, we are explicitly ensuring Defender stays enabled. This pattern is very common in administrative templates and is something you will see often in real environments. This removes confusion and builds trust. And in next, we will make sure that our device encryption is enabled too. Not all tenants or operating system version expose the same encryption settings, and that's okay. The important thing is understanding how to evaluate availability, not forcing a setting that does not exist. Before continuing, take a moment to review each settings. Ask yourself, is this intentional? Does this belong in a baseline? Then click Next. Before we move on, let's briefly talk about scope tags because this often confuses people. Scope tags are not applied to devices and they do not change device behavior. Instead, scope tags control who in IT can see and manage this profile inside Tune. Think of scope tag as an admin site access filter. In large organizations, different IT teams manage different parts of the environment. For example, a regional IT team might manage only Europe devices. A help desk team might be allowed to view devices but not edit security baselines. And security team might manage only endpoint protection policies. Scope tags make that possible by limiting visibility and management rights in Intune portal. For this lab, we are using a single admin account in lab tenant, so we will keep the default scope tag. That means all admin can see and manage this profile. In real production environments, scope tags become important when you start delegating Intune administrator across teams, but they are not required to make policies work. So for now, we leave default selected and move on to the assignments. Click Next. In assignments, we decide who receives the baseline. Assignment strategy matters. For baseline, device-based targeting is usually the safe approach. In production, this is often a dynamic device group. For this lab, we will keep it simple. Under Included Groups, click on Add All Devices or your Windows Lab device group if available. Leave exclusions empty. Exclusions should be used Exclusions should be used carefully. They are often the cause of unexpected security gaps. Click Next. This review setup This review step is critical. Configuration policies apply automatically once assigned. In production, mistake here can affect hundreds or thousands of devices. Review profile name, platform, settings, and assignments. If everything looks correct, click Create. Let's refresh. Once created, open the profile. After we create the profile, we validate deployment. In the newer Intune UI, device status is shown as device and user check-in status. To see the full device list, click View Report. Now that the baseline has been created and assigned, you may notice that status shows pending. This is completely normal. Intune configuration profile do not apply instantly. Devices need time to check in, download the policy, evaluate it, and then report the result back. In some cases, this can take up to 30 minutes, especially in lab tenants or newly created policies. It's also important to remember that devices must be turned on and connected to the internet. If a device is powered off or offline, Intune has no evaluation result to display, so it won't appear in the profile report yet. So yes, the device must be powered on, online, and able to check in. Once that happens, the baseline report will populate automatically. If you want to speed things up, you can manually trigger a sync. You can go to the devices, go to settings, accounts, access work or school, click on connected manage user, and then click on info. And then you can click on sync. After syncing, wait a few minutes, refresh the profile page, and you should start seeing devices appear with their status. This is normal Intune behavior. Patience plus a sync is usually all that's needed. Go back to your baseline profile and click on refresh. You can see that our Windows machine has appeared. Now let's go back to our Windows 11 machine, settings, accounts, access work or school, click on the manage user, click info, and click on sync. Wait for a few minutes and then you can refresh your page. Here you will notice the same Windows devices appear twice, Windows 10 and Windows 11. This is normal behavior in Intune. Configuration profiles are evaluated in two contexts, the system context and the user context. That's why you see one entry for the system account and one for the sign-in user. It doesn't mean the device is duplicated. In fact, seeing both entries with a successful status tell us the policy applied correctly at both levels. This confirms that Intune delivered the configuration and the device accepted it. In this lab, you created your first baseline Windows hardening profile using the settings catalog. You learn how to navigate configuration profiles, select meaningful baseline security settings, assign the profile correctly, and validate deployment status. This baseline now defines the minimum security posture for managed Windows devices. In the next lab, we will build on the foundation by creating more restrictive controls, such as blocking USB storage and controlling operating system features. This is exactly how real Intune environment evolve. Baseline first, control second.